Hey, how's everyone doing? Just gonna do pretty much an unedited check-in. We're 11, 12 days into Hurricane Fiona. The province we're in right now, it's pretty well all cleaned up. We're still getting a few calls. In fact, we just landed on this one. It's someone's camp, so no one was in the area in the initial storm. But some of the calls, still quite a bit of damage. I'll show you guys what we're into right here. That's my partner for the day there, Dax. We've got some pretty big trees come down through here. These were all still up in the air when we arrived. They're pretty well all hung up on each other, so some pretty challenging cuts. Yeah, keep her going. Beautiful. Beauty. Beauty. But we got everything down on the ground now. I spoke to the homeowner. They're aware of the mess that's currently at their camp. It's gonna be quite a big cleanup. So here's the pole. It's going to be a climber. That's the old service. Used to be mounted on the pole. That's not a standard at our company anymore. So the service was moved over to the camp when they upgraded that. You can see the triplex is all still ripped up there. It was ripped off the pole. We get her opened up pretty good now. There's still obviously some trees. These customers don't really want to lose all their trees around their camp. So we cut enough. We got a pretty clear shot out to the mainline pole. So everything's dead now. Power's out, and the wire's damaged right where one of the trees ripped it off the pole. So we've got our new triplex here, just number 2 triplex, and we're just in the process of splicing that mid-span right now. So this is the other end here. Dax was just starting to splice. So you can see whenever you're splicing triplex, when you're prepping your wire, you want to cut your neutral wire just a hair shorter, about the width of the crimpet, and then that way your blacks are longer, so when the other end connects, the blacks are going to overlap for crimpet. In the sleeve they butt up against each other, but for the actual crimpet they're going to overlap, so you need a little bit of extra length in the blacks. And guys had asked before why we weren't putting any penetrox in the sleeves in a few videos. So most of our crimpets and connectors, you can't really see in there, but they come preloaded with penetrox. So we'll just slide that in. Just gonna pause the camera for a sec. So once you stuff that in, you can see the goop comes right out there. Now we're using a compression sleeve because this is the smooth body neutral. It's not rounded strands on the outside, so you're not really supposed to use automatic sleeves on this stuff. Another thing to remember, as you press it, the sleeve will start to banana. You start from the inside, working your way out, and ideally you want to alternate with each press, and every time you press it'll straighten that. But there's nothing wrong with starting from the center and skipping the exact width of each press as you go. So we're going to come back from the opposite side and finish those presses, and that'll straighten that right out. So I'm just going to finish up doing that splice here. Dax is grabbing his climbing gear, getting set. It's been awesome having a partner all week, doing quite a few of my climbs, so it's a huge help. That's the cinch lock pole belt. A few of the guys were asking about. So there's a ton of different techniques to pull up the wire to sag it up. This one here, it's a long span. We're gonna be pulling up a ton of weight. Sometimes you're pulling up a lot of weight, we'll put the grip right on the wire. This one here, it's pretty hard to gauge where the wire is going to land. You don't want to pull that up and have the grip too far from the pole so that you can't reach it. So we're going to pull it right up from the tip. So here we just backed off 2 strands. This whole section of wire is going to be completely cut off and scrapped. So we backed off 2 sections, and we're simply going to do a loop, and then we're going to wrap that around all 3 wires here real tight. So that gives us a little bit of a pulling eye. If you're going to be pulling up a mile worth of wire, you're not going to use this technique. You're going to want to actually use a preformed grip or an improved pulling method. Someone just shot a duck. But so we're just going to loop through that. That won't come undone for as hard as we're going to pull this today. And we'll want to make sure to do a half hitch on the tip of the wire so it doesn't get snagged up in anything. So one big thing to remember, that tail, the extra wire that was hanging over the back side of the pole, when you cut that wire to drop to the ground, hang on to the other end, and that way you can retrieve your hand line like Dax did there. He stuck at his hand line. So he's just making the final connections up there, and we're gonna hit the road. We've got four more work orders to get to. It's probably about 6 p.m. right now. We've got to be in, our target's 10 p.m. but we've got to absolutely be in by midnight at the latest. And then we've got another crew that's going to be covering the night shift. We're still pulling 16-hour shifts pretty well every day, and most of the guys from our office are in another province working for at least another week. So once things settle down, I'm going to take a few days to spend with the family. Probably won't do any editing in the videos. So I'll get this posted up just to check in with you guys. Hope everyone's safe, and we'll see you soon.